What's going on, League Nation? This is your commish signing in. We have a special Thanksgiving edition for this week's pod. I'm so happy to be joined by not only my co-host Jesse, but also best bud from high school, Chris Reese, aka Refuse to Lose, and the one, the only Nick York, joining us. Christian McCaffrey, owner. Love to have you on the show. What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Well, Dan, not too much. I was actually off today, which was amazing. So I was able to not go into work and went go shopping for the Christmas tree. So a little unique about, usually you go the day after Thanksgiving. This time I wanted to go today, the day before. And it was pretty unique because I get there and usually, you take 30 minutes, you undo all these trees, you unwrap them, and then nobody is really happy with the outcome, right? And so this one, it was a little different. So I go in there, the tree's already unwrapped. I grab the first tree, I put it in front of Vanessa and the kids, and they said, I love it. I mean, they just
Wow.
ate it up. I mean, and that was it. That was the end of it. So got the Christmas tree, put that up. So yeah, that's what's going on with me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I've never had that happen in my life before. It's always a process, You got to
Yes.
unwrap a whole bunch of them, and it takes forever. But I do love the process. Definitely, we got the artificial tree. So this year,
Ooh.
which is
Yeah,
it
you gotta.
hurts. We're definitely gonna go back to the real tree. Just a
Wait,
matter of
that's not
time.
what you told me earlier today.
Well, I'm
That's
getting there. I'm getting a real tree. I'm bringing it in.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hey,
that was what you
easy.
told me.
He's
yeah, yeah,
hey,
yeah.
he's got to
Yeah.
clear it with the wife first. Be careful,
No, it's
man.
done. It's a done
Jeez,
deal.
clear it.
We're gonna have two trees this year. For me, speaking
Good
of
idea.
trees, you just look at my background here.
I
There's a bunch of
see.
trees back here, and this was actually taken this past weekend. I went on a 13-mile hike with my boys in North Carolina through the heart of Raleigh, and you can just see, some of the beautiful scenery that we got to see and enjoy. We packed some. My one friend, John, who's broken Dream Wagon now, as his playoff hopes have been completely destroyed. Um, he ended up packing an extra. He was rucking it. He put an extra like 50 pounds in his backpack, and this dude is just a beast. So I just want to give him a shout out. But we packed along the way. We packed a bunch of craft brews. So we had a couple pit stops along the way, but we had this nice 13-mile hike, and I was feeling it, when I came back. But the weather was beautiful. It was in the 60s, and it was just nice to be outside for a full day and got to light up a little campfire, cook some hot dogs. I mean, not much more you can ask than that. So that's what's going on with
Wow.
me. But what's going on with you,
No, no
Reese?
complaints. No complaints over here for sure. Still feeling the euphoria of that huge win over McCaffrey, aka Nick over there. So I'm loving
Yeah.
I'm loving my life.
Oh.
Killing me.
Wait, he just changed
getting
his
up.
background. What did he?
Yeah,
Wait.
He just unveiled the best background of all time over here. So I'm looking at it now.
Tired of all these trade offers. I get these garbage trade offers. So it's like you gotta let me mull it over. You know what I'm saying?
That's what my
So
team name is
I
based
figured.
off
I
of.
know. I
Yeah,
figured
I
this
love
is
it.
this was perfect because because it was a shout out to the commish. It was also a shout out to myself. So I'll tell you what, I am still, I will be honest, on one of my 4 monitors here, I am still monitoring the the transactions, and also the corrections for the stats. So I will be
That is
updating
hilarious.
you guys. The crazy thing is,
Yeah.
there was a stat correction about 5 minutes ago, and I almost said something, and I was like, no, wait, let me check. And it was for a guy that was on my bench, and I was like, no, dang it. So
dude.
I am pulling for that
Wow.
stat correction. Yeah. So I was trying to see if I could maybe talk to the commission, maybe get him to put that guy into the actual lineup, backdate it for me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. So,
I'll put it to the trade committee.
I know a couple of guys
you're
on
on.
there.
Yeah.
So,
No, I was gonna say, like, Nick, you're like a day trader for fantasy football. You got
Oh, yeah.
transactions going. You're monitoring the stack record. I love
Yeah.
it. I just love
Yeah,
it.
it is.
I love
It
the heart
is.
and the passion. I mean, we need more of that in our lives. That's amazing.
I'll tell you what. I mean, it's do you remember the one year where I was 2-10 or 2-9, and you were like, actually, I started out the season like 0-9, and you were like, I can't believe you're still setting your lineup. I was like, yes. I hate losing. I mean, it was the
love that.
year that Steven Jackson went down. He was my number 2 pick.
I remember that year.
Yeah, it was a terrible year. I was almost as terrible as me losing to Reese last week, with Fournette dropping 18 passes in one quarter. So, and your guys' Eagles totally jacking me and letting Chris's freaking Cleveland Browns shred the Eagles. I mean, look, Reese, all props to you for that. That pickup, I would never have played. I would never have played the Browns against the Eagles, but that right there, you deserved it. You deserved the win there, right there. So
thank you.
That's
no, I'll give some props to Dan's little brother John. We had a conversation about the Eagles offense, and after doing some talking with him, he really gave me a lot to think about, to chew on with Carson Wentz, and so I'm glad I was able to make a move with that Cleveland D. All jokes aside, I've been getting up every morning, 5:30, 6 in the morning. Awesome workout routine I'm doing, feeling good. Looking at my lineups every day, checking the waiver wire. So I'm just feeling good about my team right now, and I think I can definitely make some noise this year. This past week really got me headed in the right direction. It was a make or break game. So either way, Nick, you're still in it, in the thick of things. So,
well,
I'm feeling good.
So my feeling on the whole thing, and I'll be straight up honest with you guys. I'm not a loser. Okay. So I don't care what my record says. I hate to lose. But I can tell you this, like when Goff threw the interception and it knocked us to within a point of each other, I immediately got this, and I don't know if you guys have ever had this in any sport or whatever you've played, but I got this sense of, you know what, whether I win or lose, this is the best feeling ever. Having it come down to the wire, like, honestly, I want to win. Everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to lose, right? But at that moment when Goff threw the interception and Fournette trotted right back on the field, I was like, dude, I can win. So I was so excited. And it was at that very moment, I was just like, I honestly am okay with whatever the outcome is. This right here made it a close game. And I was like, this is great. And that's the thrill of sports in general. You know what I mean? That's what it does to us, man. So
I
absolutely love it. Oh gosh, it's so
the
good,
blood was pumping. The blood was pumping. I was texting. Dan and I were texting actually a little bit on that one. I was just man, I was really, I was standing up the whole game. I saw four drops or three drops there. It was just, dude, I couldn't believe it. I Pop Warner. I played right Pop Warner and never did that. So
right in his hands.
Crazy.
Right in his hands. I mean, I took my keyboard, I ran out and I said, Jenny, guess what? She said, what? And I hit her in the face with it. And I was like, Fournette dropped another one. Can you believe it? She's like, why'd you hit me? So, no, but she was, she's a great wife. She's pulling for me. She's like, right. I hope he catches one for you. I'm like, don't talk to me right now. So
I can't even look at you right now.
So, I tell you what, she was very cool about it. So she was very cool about it.
And just so you guys know, that was 154.52 to 153.68. That was the difference in that game. So,
and it's really impacted the playoff bracket here. I mean, we got 2 weeks left, and that's a huge one. I mean, Nick, the thing you got going for you is points scored. I mean, you got a bunch of points scored for you. And so that's in your favor, and then you got 2 weeks left. So
right,
it could be all four of us in the playoffs, or all four of us could be out. Who knows? I mean, everybody has the same record almost.
It is.
It's pretty
crazy.
tight. So
what's impressive is how I think on week 2 of the podcast, Jesse was saying how maybe he should be, or considered in the top 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And here Jesse is sitting at number 1. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
It's like, ooh, who saw that coming? I guess Jesse was the only one
Jesse
who saw
did.
that coming. Yeah, he did.
If
Every
I-
week.
I mean, if I have to be honest with you guys, if I really did if I'm just thinking about who I think is the top team, I have to think Nick is the top team. I'm sorry, guys. If he gets into the playoffs, he's going to be the toughest team to beat because McCaffrey will be healthy. He'll have Aaron Jones. His lineup has great receivers now with Deontay Johnson. He's the
Tyler.
scariest team right now. I know he's sitting at 7, but don't let these 1 through 7 fool you. It doesn't matter. All that matters is getting to the dance and then what you can do from that point. And Nick did it last year, and I anticipate him doing that again this year.
I'll tell you, if I can get, I sent in a correction for the stat correction to Yahoo. If I can get them to change that, I will agree with you, Jesse. If I can get them to change that one stat correction, I deserved a full tackle, not a half tackle. So, but in all seriousness, honestly, the team that scares me the most is the team that Dan has to play next week. Dan, do you know you have to play next week?
Nolan.
Yes,
Yeah.
his team.
Deal.
I looked at his
Nolan,
team
yeah.
and I was like, man, if I get McCaffrey back, I feel bad for everybody else because it's like a 6 seed can actually win the league again. But Nolan's team, he is scary, man. He is scary. I am so hoping he gets knocked off this week and next week. Sorry, Nolan, but I mean, your team's too good. He's too scary.
Well, and the thing about
so good.
The thing about Nolan is he's kind of manufactured his own success. He's had 2 different trades, bringing in, Julio Jones, and also bringing in Chris Godwin. So it wasn't like he sat around. I mean, this guy brought in these top tier receivers to address a need on his team. And that's what makes him so scary because he already has the running back depth. So that's what makes him a contender. That's what I have. I kind of have you and him 1A, 1B. That's how I rank you guys right now.
It's close. It's very close.
100%. 100%. Yeah. So that's very, it was tense, man. That was a great matchup between you guys last week. We're going to see what happens this next 2 weeks to see who gets in and who's out. Next week, I think I'm going to do the whole breakdown of everybody's probability of getting in for every owner. So
yeah, it's a good idea. Right now it's a little too early.
It's too early.
Last week was like 6 teams or 5 and 5. I mean, I have never seen anything like that. Like how close, or 6 teams or 5 and 5.
Yeah, half the league. Yep.
I mean, just incredible.
Your bro Ryan is still in it too. I mean,
I love but hate my little bro right now. That dude sitting at 3 and 7 knocks me off, and I'm like, how are you gonna beat your older brother like that? Why are you gonna do that? So and then he knocked you off, which was shocking to me. He knocked off the number 1 team,
He swept me.
And then Jesse was like, hey, Jesse's like, don't mind if I do. Stepped right by you as soon as Ryan took you out at the knees, But well done.
I got a big one this week. I'm going against you, Dan. So the rivalry comes to fruition here, and we'll see what happens. I'm not looking forward to my matchup with you this week. You're a tough one here. So I don't know. I'm taking myself, but you just never know.
Right.
I'm hoping, hopefully Galladay won't play. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm lacking some confidence right now. I mean, I don't have a lot. He's not playing this
bad
week.
News. Yeah, bad news for you. I was just gonna say
nobody's playing on my team.
I already checked tonight. Galladay is out. It says out right now. So it looks like he's out.
It's tough, when you're losing all your draft picks. I mean, it's just tough. Your top 3 picks are injured. My team, and then Lamar is just not Lamar this year, and it's just pretty much average. So I'm kind of, I'm just hoping to get into the play. If I can get a bye week, that would be amazing, obviously. But I'm just hoping to make it in and not have to play Nick or Nolan. That's basically prolong that as long as possible.
So I'm just trying to get my record close to Nolan's, so that way we flip on opposite sides of the bracket. Like I'm terrified of Nolan. I'm telling you right now, I'm terrified of Nolan.
Oh, for
So
sure.
if I can hack his computer and if I can drop some of his players right before game time, I'll do it. I'll do it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what do you guys, it being a Thanksgiving is tomorrow, we're recording this a Wednesday night, and we just kind of want to talk about, we're going to talk a little bit about DFS, some of our favorite plays for that. But just bringing it into the Thanksgiving theme, what are you guys thankful for this year? I'm just going to go around. Jess, you can kick us off.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be thankful for health. I mean, that seems basic, but I mean, just for everything that's gone on this year. I mean, we're in the midst of a pandemic here. I know it's been tough, more, for some people than others, but, for me especially, having able to, couldn't do the draft with you guys live. I mean, that was tough, but again, like I said, I'm happy that the family's healthy, and we're going to be together tomorrow. So that's what I'm thankful for this year so far.
Well, that's awesome. I love it.
Good.
What about
I'll jump
you,
in.
Nikki?
And
Yeah.
for me, I think one of the greatest things I think is that, in the midst of all the stuff that's going on, I have a lot of friends that have lost their jobs and, no income coming in or freaking out about that. And, it's one of those things like for us, I can say on both sides of the family, Jenny's family and my side of the family, all of us have work. We all, are able to put food on our tables. We're able to provide for our families. I mean, it's that to me that's huge. You know what I mean? So I'm very grateful, very thankful for that. So
That's awesome.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What
Yeah,
about
to-
you, Reed?
Bounce off what Nick just said, I'm very grateful that my job has been flexible with me during this whole time and allowed me to even work more, and gain overtime and action. But I've been very, very grateful for that, and so it's been nice. But yeah, and 2020 has been a really, really, really tough year on everybody, and my family's been no exception to that rule. We've been through a lot this year, but we're still standing and very, very thankful. We have a lot to be thankful for this year, despite it all. So, but next year is going to be much better. I already know that. 2021 is on the horizon, so it's going to be a lot better.
For sure, man. Yeah. For me, I mean, I have tons to be thankful for. Like everything that you guys hit on, I would, second that. But yeah, it's been a good year. Like through it all. I mean, we've gone through hard times and some difficult things, but I am thankful that, I have a beautiful family, and we actually have another little one coming on the way. So we gonna have another little baby.
How are you gonna do that to us right here? Unreal.
He's been saving it for the pod. Wow,
Yeah.
I love it.
Fresh off the pod. So we got
Oh my gosh. The pod just went to the next level.
little May.
Man.
Wow.
Little May.
Congratulations,
May
buddy.
baby.
May 21st,
May
baby.
2021. Yeah.
A little May 21st, baby. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but,
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Appreciate
Wow.
it. Yeah. So I'm going to be a dad again, which is pretty awesome. And we're pretty pumped. So I'm super, especially now, just thinking of that, thankful for that. That's a huge thing. So we're excited. We're really excited about it. Awesome. What about fantasy football wise? I mean, you guys have any specific player that you're thankful on your team, right now? You guys got
I'll start this one out this time, but yeah, Derrick Henry's my go-to staple player. But if I had to pick an MVP player right now, I would pick Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz really, he really came through for me, guys. I mean, this guy, he threw a pick six. That was the best pick six I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I
hate him
really
so much.
needed that
Damn,
pick six.
Jesse. I hate him so much. I hate him.
And I love the guy. I love the guy for him. I call him Andy Dalton Jr. And he's one of my favorite guys. So yeah, I would have Carson Wentz as my MVP fantasy football player. Especially, I needed last week's win like you would not believe. But I'll take it to you, Nick. What do you got?
Man, that's so. How can you go to me after that? Because now all I can think about is how much I don't. And I mean, quite honestly, like I said, I stand by what I said before. The whole game last week, I was so excited about how it ended, in less than a point, that it really didn't faze me that badly. I think my MVP is going to be yet to be seen. My MVP, I think, is going to end up being McCaffrey. I think you guys are gonna the fear that everybody is having.
I hate McCaffrey. He's on my team. I love him.
Seriously.
He's on my team.
So McCaffrey for me is I think he's going to end up being my MVP by the end of the year. But I tell you what, Kyler Murray, dude,
yeah.
He has been my rock throughout the year. Like games I should have lost, and then Kyler Murray goes for 30 something. I'm like, dude, well done, Kyler. So
Great
for me,
pick.
Kyler Murray, but I think Christian McCaffrey is going to end up being the guy that's going to help me advance, and win some of back of that cheddar. You know what I'm
saying? What do you think, Jets? Who do you got? Who's on your squad?
The usual suspects. You got Deshaun Watson and Hill, but I think the guy I'm most thankful for was a guy that I never even drafted, and that's AJ Brown. This guy was released by another team. I was able to pick him up, and he's been really solid as a wide receiver too for me. Kind of really because I lost Cortland Sutton, for the year, and he never.
Jesse, real quick question. Yeah. I'm sorry. Who was it that dropped that other? Who was it that dropped him? Ryguy dropped him. Ryguy dropped AJ Brown because he wasn't. He
had a bone bruise.
He could have put him on the IR, and he didn't. That was
IR, right?
Yeah.
And Ryguy's not the only guy to. And Ryguy, we say My Little Sony, who knocked off the number 1 seed last week, me the number 4 seed the week before. That IR position. Anyway, go ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry. I wondered about where you got that from.
Yeah, so that was a weird one. So that was like in the earlier episodes, but he did a post waiver claim drop. So it wasn't like processed through the regular waivers. So a lot of people didn't see it. Me and Nolan both bid for him. Nolan bid 18. I bid 21 for him. And then Nolan ended up getting Le'Veon Bell, which he hasn't really turned up too much. He got a touchdown last week, but anyway, so that's what I'm most thankful for, I think, on my team.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at my team, and out of the people that are healthy, I'm thankful for my defensive players. I'm thankful for Calvin Ridley. I really I was super hyped up on Ridley this year, and I took him in the 3rd round. I thought, maybe it was a little bit of a reach for some people, but I just kind of thought that he was going to take that next step. And he actually kind of got me off to a quick start in the league. In the beginning of the year, he was really getting tons of points, but he's been consistent at least. He did get hurt as well, but he's been hurt the least out of everybody else on my team. So I'm thankful for him. That's my boy.
Yeah, super impressive with Ridley. When you drafted him in another league that we're in, and I thought you reached for him there too. And the first 3 games, I was like, holy cow, Dan is a fantasy football genius like that.
Oh, that's lucky, man.
Oh no. He played up to the hype, man. He's been. I think it's a great call.
Yeah, I was just thinking Atlanta's passing offense, they can't really run the ball that well, and he's just what he was doing last year to this year. I just thought he was going to make that jump. So I'm glad I got him on my team. I just need him to stay healthy. Please, Calvin, please. So that's awesome. All right, cool. As far as the rest of the show goes, what are you guys drinking tonight? I forgot to get into that. Jess, what do you got over there?
Yeah, I don't think it's. You can't see it with the background, but oh, there we go. That's a little better. Not really.
A little too close.
Yeah,
House
a little.
lager?
It's called it's a house lager. It's Jack's Abbey Craft Lagers. It's a 5.2%. It's really just. It's easy to drink. I mean, it's just nice and smooth. Like I said, I did enjoy it. It's one of those things you can do like a daily drinker if you want. If you are a daily drinker like me, you can go ahead and it's not too bad. So definitely recommend it.
Nice. Reese, what do you got over there in Gainesville?
So not a daily drinker like Jess. This is kind of leftover from the fridge. I think from the last time I was on the pod here, but it's called Drift, a local brewery. But I'm also, this is kind of easier to drink, especially when you kind of conscious about your calorie intake.
Ooh.
It's
There you
the
go.
White Claw.
That is
Okay. All right.
that is
I
super.
like it.
Yeah, low carb. I like that.
Smart.
I'm definitely not doing low carbs. I'm doing a coconut and coffee porter from a local brewery that's around here. It's called Last Snow. It's from Funky Buddha. I'm giving them a chance to redeem themselves after the last one that I tried from them was just absolutely terrible. But this one is really good. It's not too sweet, and it's really nice porter.
So I'm the boring guy of the group, I guess. I'm doing like a 7-Up.
Oh yeah, I love that.
That's old school.
Yeah,
Solid.
That's
with
old
some-
school right there. 7 Up.
Chasing it with some Zephyr Hills water. I mean,
Ooh,
so
that's really
now
nice.
Oh,
I did.
spicy.
Yes, but I did look. Yes, I did look on my desk and I found that there is some. I have some hemp spray that
Ooh.
I've been using for some other stuff, but I guess I could drink that. So I don't know. I mean, if I want to catch up to you guys, I mean, so
Yeah,
but no, I'm just 7-Up in water right now. So.
That's awesome. That's so funny. Oh,
But
man.
next podcast, I promise I'll have something more interesting.
All right. Well, you
Well,
have
hold
you
still.
brought it with the background. I just absolutely love your background.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
it is
like
pretty
perfect.
good. That is.
I want to
pretty
make that
good.
my team logo now.
I'll send you the image. Don't worry.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Cool. So let's get into a little bit news notes around the league. So unfortunately, I sent out this invite to you guys today, actually, trying to do a FanDuel just for the Thanksgiving games, and I may actually I don't know if I should keep this one and then just do another one for the weekend, or just cancel it and then just do one for the weekend, because they actually moved the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game, which had a lot of players. I had a lot of players from that game for the night game, but
I think you just resend it for the whole. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
we'll just do the whole slate because it's hard to play a slate with just 2 games. So
Yeah.
So that was a serious bummer. Always love Thanksgiving slate on it's just a fun, you got Thanksgiving's an amazing holiday. I mean,
Right.
You get football, you get an amazing feast, you get to eat
Yes.
like 3 or 4 times throughout the day. What other days do you actually get to do that? So
Such a great day.
dude, it's the best. It's my favorite holiday. So unfortunately that game got moved but it is still being played this weekend. So we got a 1 o'clock. I think, is it a 1 o'clock game that they moved it to?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think it. Yeah.
1:15 or
I heard it was a Sunday night game, but I could
Possibly
be.
it might,
I heard
possibly a primetime game. So
Yeah.
but we'll see. So what I'll do is I'll resend the invitation out to everybody, and I'll just run it from Sunday, the 1 o'clock game starting through. I'll just run it through Monday night, so we can just play, kind of play it out and see how it is. So that'll be cool. And then other news on the injury front. Reese, I know this hits you hard, man. Yeah, your boy Joe Burrow is out for the year, tore his ACL, and that hurts. So Cincinnati was already, if you have any other skill players, I don't think Finley is going to be. I don't think anyone was rushing to the waiver wire to pick up.
I don't even think Finley's starting this week. They put in another guy.
Oh, they got another. Oh,
Yeah, they got a whole other guy in there. That actually is in there.
Brandon Allen or Brandon?
Yeah, Allen
Okay.
is who it is. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'll be honest. I looked.
Yeah.
I
You always do.
I have. Hey, shut up.
He's the connoisseur
He's
of the
got
waiver
like
wire.
4 quarterbacks, half of them backups on his lineup.
I have 7 quarterbacks on my roster.
Get it right.
4 of them are not starters. But I tell you what, when you lose your second pick, when Dak goes down,
Yeah.
and Dak,
All hell breaks loose. Let
tell
me
me the truth. Tell me the truth. When you guys look at the waiver wire and you sort by points, who is the top one who's at the top? Dak is.
know.
Dak
I'm
is
sure
at the
he is.
top with points. He's 140 points, 139 points, and
Yep.
he's been out of the league for like 6 weeks. You know,
Right.
dude's ankle. He got COVID in his ankle, and I got in trouble for having him on my IR because he had COVID in his ankle. You know, so I had to drop him.
Yeah, we had to clarify that you actually
That's so
have to have
funny.
COVID and not a COVID infection in your ankle. Yeah,
It doesn't matter. COVID ankle, COVID, whatever. So I called Trump to see if he can help me reverse the decision. But
He's got his legal team on it, so we'll see what
they're
happens.
already on something else right now. I don't even
Talk to you
care.
in
Like
6 months
whatever.
to a year from now about that one. I'll get
Yeah.
back to you.
We'll see.
So that's that's a good point, Nick. I mean, that's a huge loss. He was just scoring
Yeah,
like
it
between
was.
him and Kyler. Like,
But yeah, so you know, you look at it from that standpoint. I think you know, Dan. I mean, I looked up Taysom Hill, I
Yeah.
looked up Jameis Winston, and I saw that you sniped both of them. You were just like, you know what? Let me go ahead and grab those guys. And
Yeah.
Taysom Hill,
Dude.
I picked him up in my other like pay league that's a high payout.
Uh-huh.
Because I really honestly think that he's going to run into a lot of touchdowns. You know, I think
Yeah.
he's going to. So
Oh.
I think he's dangerous for the rest of the year, especially if they keep finding little breaks in ribs in Breeze's ribs. You know, it's like
Every day it
week-
passes, he gets an
yeah, it's
extra
like,
broken
they're
rib.
like, hey, we got another fracture here.
Another punctured lung.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
don't squeeze
Yeah.
them too hard when you hug them. But you know,
So-
I was gonna transition actually to that one was the lost pod last week. So the whole thing crashed, right? So Dan and Chris did a special, basically a DFS take, and Chris actually brought up a great point about Taysom Hill. The thing about Taysom last week was you could put him as a tight end, and that was the thing for 4,500 in the FanDuel lineup. You could put him as a tight end. I didn't know that information. I was talking to Dan. He's like, "Oh, I'm talking to Chris," and so then I passed that along to John. I mean, the whole we were just talking about lineups, and so that led me to actually using that advice and winning my FanDuel lineup. It was $100 again
Smart.
last week.
No, that's
me.
awesome.
Beating me.
It's awesome.
Beating
Jeff.
Dan, who gave me the
Oh.
advice.
I lost by 5 points. Great.
So
Dang
that
it,
that
Dan.
was
So
fair. It was a
happy for you.
bittersweet, but I want to give a shout out to Dan.
So happy.
for relaying that information to me so I could do that. But
My bad, Dan.
no,
No,
that was
it's
critical.
you
But that
helped.
just
That was huge. I think, but honestly, everybody knew. Like, if you're following any kind of daily sports feeds, by the end of the night, like by the time this game started, you had to know Taysom was like a super flex at the tight end position. It was just like a cheat code. I mean, it was good, but I still, a lot of people played him. I would say by the end of it, like the people that play all the time. But yeah, it was a sneaky thing at the time. When Chris brought it up to me, I had no idea. I was like, I didn't know you could do that.
that was early. That was like, what was that,
Yeah.
Wednesday or?
One of my kids brought me a TikTok that showed some guy saying, it said something. It was a video of him saying, all the guys in my fantasy league upset at me because I played Taysom at tight end. Well, sorry, I thought of it first, or something like that. he showed a picture of his like team scoring like 200 points or something. Like he was,
Oh,
it
dude,
was
that's
so.
awesome.
So yeah, so for real, I mean, it's one of those things like you capitalize on, the
You gotta take advantage.
benefit. Yeah,
Right,
you take
absolutely.
advantage. You
That's
jump
what
in
fantasy
and-
football is all about. You gotta
Right.
be sharp. You
No
gotta be on it.
question.
You got to be on it real quick. And with
No
Taysom
question.
Hill, like I actually spent all of my waiver money on Jameis because I thought he was going to be the starter.
Yeah.
And then I
Oh,
was
yeah.
sitting in the airport waiting to go to North Carolina, and then I got the breaking news of Taysom was going to be the
Taysom
starter,
starting.
and I just picked him up as a free agent. So I am very thankful for Taysom. I'll say that.
Right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Taysom. I got
Good.
fortunate. And Nolan
Yeah.
said he actually looked at him and didn't pick him up. He was like, actually, I saw him. And I didn't think he was. I thought, he didn't think he was going to do that well. But anyway, so not to
Yeah.
No, I
Throw
have
on
to go
Taysom,
against you next week with Taysom, so I'm not going against him. So
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that.
He ran in 2 touchdowns last week. I mean, he,
Yeah.
a 10-yarder and like a 4-yarder or something, like 2-yarder or something like that. So
he's what Tim Tebow should have been in the NFL,
Right.
kind of. Like,
Yeah,
that's kind
I
of what he
agree.
is.
Mhm.
So, but yeah. So anyway, as far as other things, like we have some good news on the injury front. It looks like a bunch of players are kind of getting close to coming back. So including Mr. McCaffrey and Austin Eckler, which I would love to have him back. And Chris, your guy, your boy,
Raheem
Mostert.
Mostert, yeah.
Yep.
So,
So what
He's
about that?
looking really good.
Yeah.
We're looking good on that right now.
So a little bit of updates on those guys. So it's a little unclear on Eckler on
Yep.
what his role is going to be right now as it stands right now. Mostert's looking good from what I read online. McCaffrey's kind of doubtful, so they think they're probably going to rest him through the bye.
Yeah, week after the bye. That's
Yeah.
from what I understand, his shoulder. They want to hold it up until the week after the bye. So we'll see. That'll be
then,
playoff week for me if I get there.
Yep, exactly. Big if there. I'm just kidding. So, and then the last thing we have is Kyler Murray. He got dinged up a little bit at the end of that game, but he's just limited to practice. But everybody
He's fine.
feels like he's going to be good to go. Yeah, so he'd be fine to go.
Yeah, he's good. That's good to hit at least some good injury news. People coming back.
Right.
That's huge.
Yes.
Right.
Awesome. So looking at playoffs are coming up. Obviously, you guys know 2 weeks left, and there's still too many scenarios to play out for us to get into that. But just so everyone knows, kind of the tiebreakers, it's going to be by points scored is the tiebreaker. So the highest point total, if it's the same record, will trump the other owner. Just so you guys are all clear on that.
Good.
Cool. Awesome. All
It just
cool.
seems, yeah. That to me seems like the best. I mean, that's the best
Just
way
the
to go about
fairest
it
way,
anyway.
I think, to do it. I'm in another
I
league
agree.
where they do it as
I
a
agree.
head-to-head
Yeah.
record, which I think is
Yeah.
bogus.
same.
Just because it's like, what if you had it just is bizarre to me because it's just like this is not. I just didn't think I like the points scored because that's actually more reflective of how your team did throughout the year. The points scored. So.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I'm in
yeah.
the same exact boat. So in my other league, I was in second place, even though I had the same record than the guy. He beat me on a fluke week where all my guys were injured. And he beat me by like 5 points. I have 180 more points than he does. And he
Right.
was in front of me. And I was just like, that just doesn't seem right.
It just doesn't make sense to do that.
It's not, yeah. And it's not like he really beat me head to head. It was, whatever the case. Yeah, I agree with you on that though. I definitely think the full year, looking at all the points was right.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, cool, awesome. And then we did get to use our trade committee. We talked about this a little bit on the pod last week. That was lost out to sea. But Chris is actually trying to make a deal with his little bro Matt. And at first, I got the text, or I got the notification, so I called out, to the trade committee unite, and I'd let them know what was up. And Nick brought up a great point. He said, hey, has this guy Matt, has he been eliminated? If he has been eliminated, then I'm not, if he hasn't been eliminated, I'm cool with it. If he has, then I don't think it's okay. And I agree with him on that. Like, if you're out of contention, you should not be making trades or doing anything like that. So I did the math. It took me probably like 15 minutes or so. I wrote out everyone's matchups to see if it was mathematically possible, and it wasn't. Like, there's just too many teams that were 5-5 for him to get the help that he needed to make the playoffs. So he was out. So we got to use the trade committee, and I think it worked really well. Like, if this would have happened last year when we just did majority rules, this trade would have gone through, and I just think this is the right way to handle it. So I don't know what you guys thought about it. I mean, think about that moving forward for the league.
Yeah. So this is just so everybody knows, it was Goff for Tyler Lockett. Just, if you haven't
quarterback
seen the
for
last
receiver.
episode.
Yeah.
Yep. For a receiver. So I thought the trade was even, just because of the upside of both people. They're a little bit inconsistent, but to your point, Dan, this is an interesting roundtable. What do we expect from owners that have been mathematically eliminated? We kind of already got Nick's take on it, how he's doesn't want to lose, right? So he's going to maybe go for the waiver wire. He's going to try to do trades and all that kind of stuff. What are your guys' takes on that? as far as what is the expectation of an owner once they've been eliminated?
Yeah, you guys go. Chris, why don't you take this one? What are your thoughts on it?
No, I think Nick was 100% correct. It doesn't make any sense. It can't benefit the team at all because they're out of contention. So it doesn't make sense to do a trade. It's unfortunate. It happened with me. I didn't even think about that. I had no idea. No, when that was going through, I was just thinking about it in the case of the players. I wasn't thinking about it, his status as a team. But I'm glad we have a committee, because if we didn't have a committee, probably would have maybe made it through, and then I would have lost to Nick because Goff actually needed Goff in that game. So he actually burnt himself. He actually shot himself in the foot, believe it or not. But no, I digress. It was a good decision, and thank God we have an ethical committee system here.
You mean thank Nick, right?
Thank you, Nick.
So
thank you, buddy. I appreciate
it. I'll give you the win. There were so many other factors in the fact that you started Cleveland's defense, like I said before, that deserves the win. Yes. Now that you pointed out Goff and Lockett, I will acknowledge that Lockett did pull down 21 points this past week. So Lockett was he was pretty money for Seattle against Arizona. But you would have started Stafford, and you'd be at 5-6 right now where I am. So, and if I'm going to trash talk a little bit, which I'm not, if I were to trash talk, I would tell you have a tougher road to get there than I do. But I'm not going to say that. You know what I mean? So,
I'm not. Hypothetically.
No. Yeah.
And you don't have McCaffrey waiting in the wings.
Right.
No, but I agree.
But 100%. Like I stand by that because and the reason is because in another league I was in years ago, there were two guys that brothers. They were brothers in a league, and they did some shady stuff, like trading at the end of the year. The one was it was probably he could have still made the playoffs if he won out, and it was just like everybody knew what they were doing. You know what I mean? And it was just like, why why do that? You know what I mean? It just so and not saying that you guys were doing that at all, Reese. Not saying that you guys were doing that at all. Just sorry, I had to get my dig in there too.
Reese is like, I had no idea.
No, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Like I just, for me, what's the benefit like on both teams? If he were trying to make it to the end, if he had to win out the next three and he were trying to make it, I'd be like, yeah, dude, I would sell my whole team to try and get into the whatever you can do to get into the dance. Yeah. Yep. You do what you got to do. Yeah, for sure.
But Jess, going back to like what you were saying, as far as what do we expect from these owners that have been eliminated, what I expect as the commissioner is that they will set their teams. They have to set an active roster and be competitive, but at the same time, no trades. I mean, if there's a big waiver wire pickup, I wouldn't expect them to be picking up. Like for example, if I guess they have the money, but I just don't make a big waiver claim on somebody that's if you're like out of it, right? Like or if you get a starting running, maybe Dalvin Cook gets hurt or somebody gets hurt and you're going to pick up that stud, the top waiver claim. I do not, I would say hold off on that.
And I get that, but there's the other argument is they want to play spoiler, so they want to be the team that hurts the other team.
If you have, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think? I mean, in my opinion, it's like if you have nothing to play for, you got to try to beat you always want to win, obviously, but you should be you're not allowed to make trades. I think we kind of established that with the trade committee. So in my opinion, I don't think you should be making the big waiver claims, and you got to field a team. You got to put a team together. Don't put an empty roster out there. But I don't know. What do you guys thought?
Don't tell Nick that he's gonna try to win.
Look, man, Owen, I'm telling you, Steven Jackson, the year he went down, 0-9, I still tried to win. And it was just, I just wanted to win. But there's a lot of guys that just like, they're done. You know what I mean? As soon as they're eliminated, it's like, what's the point, right?
Mhm.
And it's hard, Dan. You're in a hard spot as a commissioner to try and, keep people motivated. Without being threatening, like, hey, if you guys don't set your lineup, I'm gonna get someone else in here. You don't want to be like that, commissioner.
Well,
but-
no, I can go in and change. If there's empty roster spots, I could fill it for them. But yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's tough. I don't think we'll have that problem with this in this league.
Not with the guys we have. Not with the
Yeah.
guys we have. I think the guys we have are pretty, pretty legit and pretty, pretty
Yeah.
competitive. Nobody wants to lose. So,
Yep.
but it is a hard situation, especially in leagues where people just quit playing and they stop setting the roster, and then you have
Need, right.
you have easy wins at the end of the year for teams that, it shouldn't have been an easy win.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Like as soon as waivers run, you can pick up whoever you want. But I just don't, putting in waiver claims at this stage if you're being eliminated, you got to set a lineup. You got to do that. But I just we'll kind of see. I guess there's got to be a way to, maybe if there was a consolation bracket or something for them to play for.
Yeah,
keep
maybe
it
put
interesting.
it out there. Put it out there for everybody else. Like, hey, whoever's eliminated from the playoffs, whoever has the highest scoring point total at the end of the season, like, whatever it is, like, I don't know, something there that they can win half their money back or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it gives them something to play for.
I think too, like that's why I wanted to incorporate the FanDuel next year, because I think that would be cool. Is because once you get eliminated, you're still connected to the league because we could still have the daily component with the season long.
Right.
And I like the way FanDuel does it is pretty cool. You can set up a league at the beginning of the year, and then it can run. You don't have to put a weekly entry fee in. It's just one fee up front, and then at the end of the year, it does prizes at the end of the year. So I think that'd be kind of cool. So it's like a season-long daily competition and a season-long, the regular thing that we do. So, but I'll kind of think about that in the off season and kind of see what we want to do with that.
Very cool.
Cool. Awesome. All right. What do you guys think? Surprise team to make the playoffs this year? Who do you got? Who you got, Jess?
Surprise team. So if we're thinking about surprises, we're thinking about teams that are not currently in there, correct? So
yeah, I'm gonna give you.
We're looking at.
We're looking at.
Now, Nick.
It can be anybody. I mean, because it's. Yeah.
I mean, if I'm looking at it,
Nick's out. I don't think he's a surprise team. Yeah, he's got.
He's no. I know he's not a surprise team, so I'm not. Right. I'm not picking him, but. If I had to pick somebody else, I'm probably going to go with Chase. He's got pretty good point total. He's at 5 and 6. Michael Thomas is actually kind of resurged because of Taysom Hill, which is pretty nice. He's got Kelsey. He's got decent quarterbacks. So I'm going to go with him.
He's also got $89 on his waiver budget. So that dude can buy whoever he wants for this. I think he's the highest on the waiver budget. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's the highest on the waiver budget. That's crazy.
Yep.
As maybe I should talk to him at Thanksgiving tomorrow, see if he can lend me a few bucks.
lend you some points.
I think I am the
lowest. You got $2, right?
Yeah, I think I am the lowest.
I just bid $3 every time. I just know I can.
You know what? I see that. I see you and Dan bidding $3 every time. I'm like, dude, these guys think I want those players. So,
it was funny.
I hate you.
I use all my money. Nick, you still have the lead in waiver moves with 66 year to date. So
yeah, it'll only go up from here, bros. It'll only go up.
I'm gonna say, Jess, going off of that, like surprise team, I think Ryan's gonna make it. I think he is. He's got Justin Herbert and he's got Kamara and he's got Chris Carson healthy now. Like, dude, what do you think? I mean, I think he's gonna sneak in there.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, but I like Ryan's team. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's so close. I mean, everything is so close in this league.
Right.
There's so much parity here. So I'm not going to disagree with you there, but yeah, I think they both had a good shot to sneak in here.
So here's, just so I can jump in, I I like Ryan's matchup this week. I like My Little Sony's matchup this week.
Ooh.
And he goes against Jesse next week. He goes against Kareem of the Crop.
Ooh.
So to me, if he wins both those games, I mean, holy cow, Ryan.
He could do it. Yeah.
Ryan goes from like, what was he 2-7 or 3-7? I know he was 3-7 because he beat me than you, but yeah. So, and I agree. The and Evans too. You know what I mean? Like he has Mike Evans. He has
got a good team.
Kamara. Yeah, he does. He has a solid team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think that's good. I mean, yeah. As far as like surprise teams, we're gonna get break it down next week for looking closer to see who can get in. Switching gears here, just kind of looking at DFS for this week. I guess for Thursday's games we'll look at. We only have 2 games, but you guys have a stud player, a guy that you like locked into your lineup, so you're gonna start.
I was talking to Jess about this earlier. I really like, and I don't know, this might not be good news for you, Dan, but I really like Deshaun Watson this week a lot.
How could you not?
I think the Detroit matchup is really favorable, and I think Deshaun is going to do it with his legs and his arms this week. I look for him to go big. And I look to stack with him, not just for Thursday's slate, but for the whole weekend. Awesome. I like him as a quarterback for the whole weekend. Stack with Fuller. I was even talking about stacking him with Jordan Akins because he might get a little bit more with Randall Cobb being out. There might have a little bit more tight end set with Jordan Akins. So I like Deshaun to go big this week. That's my major stud player.
That's your lock 8,700 games. Yeah, that's I like that one a lot. I think if you're going to look at the receivers in FanDuel, obviously to me like McLaurin sticks out as the guy that's like makes the most sense if you're playing cash just to get him into your lineup because he's got a great matchup. Dallas secondary is not very good, and I just think he's like he's got a good floor. He's safe. He's got high upside. I think he finds the end zone this week. So I would lock McLaurin into my lineups.
Yeah. If I'm looking at this thing, I'm going to kind of go right along with where you're going. I'm going against Dallas. So I'm going with Gibson here. Mm-hmm. If you're looking at the matchup against Dallas, they're ranked 31st against the rush. Gibson has been really solid. I went with him a couple weeks ago. He got 20 points. He did well last week against Cincinnati. Another favorable matchup with 16 points. So I think he's going to continue that trend this week. So I'm going to definitely plug him into my lineup.
I like it. I like Gibson. Yep. What about you, Nick?
Nice. It's a tough one, right? We just found out, I think earlier tonight, that Golladay is out for Detroit.
Yep.
And one of the players that I'll just confess it. I have McKissick as one of my, running backs for the FanDuel because I think he's going to be a super bargain because he catches a lot of passes and he gets a lot of yards. But as far as as soon as Golladay went out, I went and switched one of my receivers over to Jones, Jones Jr. I don't know that Detroit is going to be able to do a lot against Houston, but if they do anything, I think it's going to come down to Hawkinson and Jones. And, if anybody finds the end zone, it'll be one of those two guys. So, it's a tough one for me. McKissick was the guy that I had chose coming into this, when we were talking about it a little earlier. But now I'm like, man, Jones is, because it's such a bargain. That's the thing I look at. Who's the guy that's that's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck? Obviously, McLaurin, he's at the top of the list, He's
a lot.
And he's a lot of money. And I have him in both my pay leagues, so I love that guy,
Let him do great.
Oh my gosh, he's carried me, So as far as best bang for your buck, I'm thinking it's gonna McKissick for the running back and Jones Jr. for the wide receiver. That's my.
I would say too, another sneaky play. If you guys are playing tomorrow, is Kiki Kuti out of the slot. He's going to be the slot receiver for Houston, and he's only 4,500 on FanDuel. So if you need a punt play at receiver, he got a touchdown last week, and Kenny Stills I think is going to be out, and the other receiver is going to be out too. So I think
Randall Cobb.
Yeah, Randall Cobb, he's out. Yeah, so I think he's slotting in at the slot receiver. And to me, when I look at those two games, I think the Houston Detroit game is going to be the more of a shootout game.
Yeah,
So,
against a suspect defense, man. I mean,
Yeah.
Detroit's defense is, god
And,
awful.
wanna
and,
get a
and,
little-
I was going to say, if you look at Detroit's corners, they're ranked 129th and 127th
Yeah, I
in the
love
league.
that.
So, and
Jeez.
just another little tidbit. So Deshaun Watson, they were up pretty much all last week. They're still winning, but he dropped back 77% of the plays despite being up. So I think he's going to continue that trend. I don't think they're going to run a ton on him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though they can. I mean, teams do that. They do run on Detroit. It's just, I just think Deshaun's going to take over. So I agree with Chris on
you
that.
can't trust Duke Johnson. Trust me from playing him the last 2 weeks in our league. He's gotten me 5 points each week. So Deshaun doesn't check down to running backs, and like at an alarmingly high rate. He just does not look for his running backs in the passing game, and they just like to pass. So and Detroit's terrible at stopping the pass. So if you want to get super contrarian and play in a big tournament and just throw Duke Johnson in just throw like a lineup that no one's going to play. He probably you may have some success with that. Just take a dart throw with him if you want to do that. But if you're playing like cash games, like I like to play, it was just like 50-50, the top 50% win. I would not play Duke Johnson. You cannot trust him. You can't do it. So
I agree with you.
Well, I don't want to even get into the weekend's picks because we're going to do our weekly competition. So I don't want to give any insight to the enemy intel here. So we can save that. We can kind of talk about that next week on the pod, how everybody fared in that and what, maybe, go over the lineups and roster choices that everyone made. But it's been a great show, guys. I think we had a really good time, and I love the video component. I love having 4 guys. Like the fact that everyone stuck with us and made it happen. I thank you guys for doing that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Man.
Thanks,
Hopefully
guys.
we'll
for
bring it
having
back.
Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate everything you guys do every week, and a lot of fun.
Awesome. Good luck to everybody this weekend, and happy Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except
Happy
to Reese.
Thanksgiving.
Except for Reese.
Good
luck, boys.
That's a
Good
Jesse.
luck.
All right. Thank you. All right, boys. We're out.
All right. See you guys.